finals are upon us, and it brings the key combatants, those that will shape September, to the 360 agenda. They're everyone's favourites. What are the Tigers making of their cult status? We'll ask the coach and the captain. Bomber Thompson has skipper Joe Watson alongside him as Essendon prepares to try to win its first final in a decade. And Brownlow medal favourite Joel Selwood stops by to answer the key questions before the Cats again meet the Hawks. I'm Gerard Waitley, he's Mark Robinson. This Monday night, it's footy from all angles. Hello, Robbo.
Hello, Gerard.
Sport is better as a shared experience.
Well, give me the Premiership Cup. Why is the Premiership Cup on your side of the desk?
Because they felt you would fiddle with
please?
it
Wait, just pass it.
Relentlessly.
Just pass it over. No, pass it over. Is it this year's?
I believe so.
We got a close up on there. That's this year's. I'll just stick it right there.
Where were you on Saturday night watching the Richmond finish?
I was in a pub in Richmond.
Yeah, beautiful.
I was in a pub in Richmond. I told you I was going to go there. Went to the MCG to watch the draw. Then myself and some Richmond friends went down to this pub. When the last quarter was just electric. To be a fan, and I'm trying to watch it, and I IQ'd it, so I've watched it again since. And when the siren went, it was pandemonium. Oh, drunks were just... everyone was singing and everyone was up. It really was a magical moment in footy on Saturday night.
Right.
Where were you?
I was at home. The kids probably didn't have the same level of pandemonium from the football, but that's not to say there's not a level of pandemonium usually.
It was great.
Before we move on, a little reflection on where the season ended. So the top 8 from last year measured against the top 8 from this year. It's the same top 4, and you could probably make the case that the movement of Franklin from Hawthorn to Sydney saw the Swans leap to the top of that table and just shunt everyone down a place. The Swans came up with 1.5 more wins. Hawthorn 2 losses, Geelong an extra loss, Fremantle, and it lost that share of the draw. Port Adelaide made it just as they did last year. They added 2 wins. North Melbourne straightened themselves out. Instead of losing all the close ones, they added 4 wins. Essendon, now this is with just the strict numbers from last year rather than the interference that came. They were less but made it, and Richmond made it again. So the only change was Collingwood out and North Melbourne in, which sort of makes perfect sense when you look at the scenario of the 2 teams.
How did you go with your top 8 from the start of the year to top 8 now off the top of your head?
I'm not sure I can recall. I had West Coast in, I know that much.
I didn't have West Coast, I didn't have Essendon, I had Richmond, had North Melbourne in 4th, they finished 5th. I didn't have Port Adelaide in, was a bit stupid. So
I'm not sure that terribly much changed across the whole season, but this is what we're presented with, and this is a beautiful first round of the finals.
Can't wait. Have a look at it Friday night. You look at them and you go, God, that's a great game Friday night. Oh, what about Saturday? Then you go North Essendon, that'll be good. Then you go Sunday, then you go back to Thursday, so we've still got Hawthorn Geelong.
All right, a Monday hero to get us going. There's a stipulation tonight.
What is it?
It has to be a Richmond hero.
Well, I did know that, but luckily I went Richmond. I wrote about this guy today, Gerard, in my tackle column in the Herald Sun, and it's Alex Rance. Now, watching the game on the weekend, everyone contributed, everyone did. But some people just stood up. And in tight games like this, look at this. He was just... it wasn't magic. It was leadership. He was a colossus back there where the ball just had to be stopped in any way, shape or form. It couldn't get to goal. And he set himself up and he had 6 intercept possessions. Like, he stopped the ball 6 times, contested marks, had an Alex Rance moment when he took the third last mark of the game and kicked it out of bounds, and the fuller went, oh, Rance, what are you doing? What are you doing? But it worked out all right. But it was just a game where I thought to myself, you know what, young fella? He's not that young anymore. You know what, fella? That was the best game of football I've ever seen you play. And I reckon when he went in the rooms after the game, I heard Jack Rewalt say yesterday that he said to Alex Rance, that's the best quarter of football I've ever seen anyone play. Now, that is hype, but it was really, really important. Yep. It was great to watch. Congratulations to him. You?
Oh, I'm going with the finisher. Dustin Martin. So Randy Macho Man Savage had the elbow off the top rope and Hulk Hogan had the leg drop. Richmond's got Dustin Martin isolated 1-on-1 up forward. The sealer against Carlton, this was the pivotal moment late in the third quarter against West Coast. He'd put them back in front at the Adelaide Oval against the Crows, or that might have been the sealer against the Crows.
Pushing
in the
it back.
one-on-one that he got away with there, and then again when they needed him, they were behind. They established the one-on-one up forward. He's lethal when he gets isolated in the front half.
He's a big weapon for Hardwick, isn't he?
Oh yeah,
Huge weapon. I touched on something today. I'll ask you the move of the year. And Dustin Martin forward late is like a move of the year. There's been a lot of good moves made by coaches, but Dustin Martin forward at the death has become just a winner.
and the defenders clearly feel that they're in Twitchville when they're down there, and it's coming to them one-on-one. His accomplished players just can't handle him.
He's strong overhead, he's strong over the ball. You know what he does? He keeps his feet. I know Richard fell over, and we may talk about that later or not on the surface, but Dustin Martin keeps his feet on the ground. And how many times do you hear coaches in here with Bomber and Roosie in press conference say, you've got to keep your feet? He's balanced, never goes down.
So we're already into the agenda, really, with Richmond. They do control it. Perhaps it's best summed up in one sentiment. How about them Tigers?
Thumping kick, Edwards. It might come down to Dustin. Dusty! He's gone inside 50. He has a look behind. He steadies. He makes sure of it. Did you see that? Can they get their act together, the Tigers? They can. They can, you know. Flosstone kicks it. Revolt takes the mark. It had to be Jack who had the ball at the end. The Richmond resurrection is complete.
We came here with a plan, and early days we were really good, and then just stuck fat. 10 weeks ago when we played them last time, they would have got the better of us, but a little bit of maturity, an opportunity, and we're really looking forward to it.
If you look at the emotion spilling over there, they have somehow come from 3 and 10, they've come from 16th on the ladder, and there it is. They will play Port Adelaide in the first week of the finals.
We fought it out, it's finals-like conditions, and I guess we deserve it in the end. That's by far the best team win I've ever played in. I was ecstatic, I can't put into words.
It may well be the moment of the year, and it's delivered Richmond the end of September, and the captain and the coach are here. Trent Cotchin, Damien Hardwick, welcome to AFL 360.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Welcome back.
Appreciate
you missed
it,
us?
Yeah, I have. I was very, very excited to get the call up and come in and join you guys again.
Be honest, how much of a major role have yourself and Jared and 360 played in the resurgence of Richmond this year?
Whenever we're searching for a bit of confidence, we definitely flick on 360 and away we go.
And you watch it every night?
Yeah, you instill us with belief. You're nothing but positive about the Tigers. So it's been a good year.
Let's be honest, I think the positive vibe about Richmond, probably not from 8 weeks ago, from about 4 weeks out, has just been contagious. It's been terrific. Can you enjoy that? Can you soak that up, or is it business as usual?
Oh, it's business as usual for us. Obviously, the belief in the group and our supporter base has grown over the course of, the 7 or 8, 9 weeks, whatever it is now. But it's certainly a good place to be. Our belief in the way we're playing has been paramount to the way we've been winning games.
How do you lose belief, and how do you find it again?
Yeah, it's a good question. Confidence is a wonderful thing within a player. If players are playing confident football, you feel as if as coach you can just sit back and relax and watch it unfold. And we probably lost that at the start of the year, but you look at the way that the guys have been playing, and I know people will say it started from our 9 wins, but there were signs previous to that was coming. We just had
the
to
North
make
Melbourne
sure.
game, that first half.
Yeah, I struggle to think who we played before that, but that's probably a good starting point. And we started to see some signs back then, and that just gained momentum from there.
Trent, do you have a sense of how happy you're making people? Not just Richmond people, but I think it's given everyone who doesn't have a team or you're not playing against a real stake at the end of the season.
Yeah, it's funny. I reckon from the start of the year, everyone was very excited to see us go poorly, and now it's almost like people started feeling sorry for us. And then on the back of a few wins, they're starting to ride a bit of the momentum as well. But it's hard not to notice. I mean, whether or not it's a Richmond supporter or not in the street, they do mention how well we've been going. But again, within our four walls, not much is changing. We're sticking to what we know, and we need to come out and perform game day.
When you do catch the plane with the players who have all been part of this and have all pitched in together, was it a special hour and a half, or has there been a little bit of a moment to actually savour what's been achieved before switching to the next?
I suppose as a group there was. It was Newey's 250th, so it was exciting to win for him. Such a tremendous person for our footy club throughout his career. And then for me personally, it probably hit me, 2 or 3 minutes after the game, the disappointment I felt last year after the final. So the reality for me was that we've got a job to do this Sunday, and I'm looking forward to it.
Of the win on the weekend, which hopefully you can take into another pretty good team in Port Adelaide, was there any one aspect of the game that you were satisfied with the most? Was it poise? Was it coming back after Sydney hit the front, which you've done, I think, a couple of times this year? Was there an aspect of the game when you thought to yourself, Trent, when you're talking to the boys, I'm damn proud of what we did?
Yeah, I think when we had those 2 or 3 defensive exits or rebound 50s, I think the correct term is.
What do you call them? Exits?
Oh, whatever, just get the ball out of there. That's what I call them. A couple went on the full. There was still pressure building, but to have, Alex Rance, who his last quarter was outstanding, Troy Chaplin, Newey and Batch both had contests where I think without the confidence that we have at the moment, we probably would have lost earlier in the season, and they just took really strong marks, went back, really composed, executed the plan that we had. But to beat such a proud side in contested footy on the night was very good and very important for us.
In all those wins, Dimmer, there's we call them heroes, but there's contributions from all players, be it a tap on, Batchelor at the end, just that coolness at the end when the ball had to be won. But there always has to be big moment players, and Alex Rance was clearly one of them on the weekend. When you're in the box and you're watching it unfold, do you have time to say, he's been huge, or do you have to just go on to the next contest and live it like that?
Yeah, there's a little bit of both. Obviously, Alex had a couple of really crucial contests. Goods was looking really dangerous down there late. It was a good move by John at that stage, and Alex, to his credit, took charge and won a couple of crucial contests. The bloke sitting across me was enormous in clearances. Ben Griffiths took a huge mark, and then Jake Batchelor had the composure at the end. So those sort of things as a coach stand out, but over the course of the game, they're probably not as, you don't look at them more as you do towards the end of the game. And I thought Alex's last 5 or 6 minutes was nothing short of outstanding.
Everyone says, you got to start well. Yeah, you started well, but they still ran you down and got in front towards the end. Everyone's going to say, what do you have to do this weekend? What do you have to do well? Everyone's going to say, you got to start well, but that doesn't guarantee you anything in today's footy. If there's a number one thing, Dimmer, that you've been pleased with, a number one thing that you need your side to do this week to knock over Port Adelaide over there, what would it be?
Yeah, it's contested ball. We were obviously pretty disappointing, I think, in the start of the year. I think the first 7 or 8 rounds were about AFL 14th, and I think we finished AFL 3. So, look, the turnaround is, it's been on the back of guys. Trent, obviously, for mine, his ability to get from contest to contest has improved as the season's gone on. The addition of Miles, but the ability for all our players to win those crucial one-on-ones, or more importantly, not get beaten, they create stoppage or cause a spillage, has been crucial. And there's no doubt our games and our wins have been built off the back of that.
And the growth within players. I mean, Basher Hooley's taken some criticism over the journey. He even on Saturday night, and I've noticed him a lot, his ability or want now to fly back with the ball and take the hit. And I hope you agree. I don't know if that was really always a part of his game because he's such a rebounder, but I think that's one area of his game which may be contagious, I don't know, that has really stood up. Yeah,
it's improved. There was a really crucial contest. I think Jack kicked a ball between Basher and Goodsy, and Basher had to go backwards with the flight of the ball. And I think Basher, by his own admission, would say, look, it probably wasn't a strong suit of his, but writing his player review today, the 12 months from last year to what he's done this year has been outstanding in that area, and I think he's risen a level as a player as a result.
So to use that as a thread, you've won 3 fewer games, you're 8th instead of 5th, you're on the road, and yet it compellingly feels like you're better placed going into this final series than you were 12 months ago. Do you feel that?
I personally think we're a better side than 12 months ago. I think our consistency level over the course of the year has been You know, we haven't had the fluctuations in or out, which has been really important. The ability for me as a coach to sit back and see the leaders take over on the field has been important. You know, we've been headed at various stages in last quarters, but, you know, we listen back to box audio and our coach's box relatively quiet because we can see Trent and his leadership group take charge, and that's been the big step for us. You know, that we can't control the game for the coach's box as much as we think we can do. We can do very limited, you know, moves from there. These guys take charge, and it makes me feel better as a coach, guaranteed.
Do you feel that? Do you feel what?
Certainly a lot more confidence from the coaching staff to our leadership group, and there's been probably times throughout the year where we've asked for that. You're obviously bouncing ideas off each other during the week, but the crunch, I mean, for a message to come from the box down to the bench and then from a runner to get it out to one of our leaders or any player, it can take 2 or 3 minutes at times, depending on where the runner is, and sometimes that's just the reality. The game's over by then, so there is a lot more ownership on our group making decisions. But it's also we've been in those situations now, and we know exactly what's required.
As coach, is Dan Jackson available this week?
Yeah, he is. He is.
After a win like that, how difficult is it to say, right, do we go with Jackson in a big final, which you probably would say yes to, because he's that kind of player, but then you've got to take someone out of that team on the weekend who's gone to Sydney and knocked them over and probably deserves a spot. How difficult is that going to be?
Yeah, look, it won't be a difficult decision. At the end of the day, if it helps us win, we'll make the call. Yeah, like Dan's an important player. Unfortunately, he's had his year basically wrecked through injury. Is he
match fit?
Well, we looked at that today. He's played, I think, 85 minutes and 84 minutes the last couple of weeks, so he's thereabouts. The good thing about it, he's a 7 or 8 year player, so his consistency of preparation's been pretty high. So he's a really fit guy. You know, as he's touched there, that's a decision we've got to make, and you know, it's a difficult decision in finals. From do you take a player that hasn't played for a period of time and put him in? But it's probably a risk you look at and you assess and you make a decision. Whatever's going to help us get the 4 points.
And just one thing on the make-up of the team. I mean, Flash Gordon, for example, when the season started, it's probably a question for you, Dimmer, more than you, Coach. When the season started, did you envisage players in the team now that they were going to be there at the start of the year? Does that make sense? Like, did you think that Gordon was going to be such an important, exciting member of your front six? Or was it an evolving team?
Yeah, we did it at the start of the year. He played some pretty good footy. We just couldn't quite get him into the side. Then he debuted, went out of the side, and he's come back in. And we call him Red Dog because there's a show called Funny Farm. I don't know whether you've seen it. The guy buys a red setter and he opens the door and he just runs. And that's the last time you see a red dog apart from the late scene. And that's what he does. He just runs and he creates opportunity, and he's become a really important player for us. And he creates chaos, which is what we like about him.
He makes the opposition be a little bit worried,
he makes them defend, and he creates opportunities for others. So he's become an important player for us.
So how much do you think the team's evolved? Forget the 310 from round 2 when you're still in the mix to now. You look at the team, you think, I thought Pettard was dead, and Pettard's come back.
Yep.
And Miles has come in, Pettard's come in, Hooley's taken his game to another level, Gordon's a regular. There's been a real involvement.
Yeah, there has, and
aspects of your team.
Grimes and Batchelor have come in and been consistent performance. So we've sort of had all those players thereabouts, but we did have a lean patch with injury at the start of the year. Grimes was unavailable. We had a couple of guys break hands. Batchelor was injured, so they've sort of come in at the right time where consistency's improved as a result. And it's amazing when you get your players on the park. You start to win footy games. You only got to look at Collingwood's downfall towards the end. They just don't have a capable side playing that consistent brand of footy. So we've been really pleased that our important players are playing well.
Trent, there is a little bit of interaction between the two teams from last they played, and I'll just give you the refresher. This is Travis Boak then and now on Troy Chaplin.
So I guess he can do what he wants, but yeah, I hope he's enjoying the year they're having.
We'll just worry about beating Richmond this week, and I mean it was a bit of banter after a game, and it might add a little bit externally, but for us we're just worried about getting the job done on the Sunday.
Does it give it a little bit of edge?
I think the final's going to have edge anyway. It's an elimination final. We need to win to go through to the next opportunity. So I'm sure both teams are preparing at their absolute level, and it'll be an interesting clash.
And we're going to enjoy that more than you guys are going to enjoy that, because that'll be mentioned a couple of times this week, no doubt.
Oh, most probably right.
You don't care. You do not care
really
one little bit. And no point asking you.
No.
All right.
One of those comments.
Let's just finish up. What do you want out of Sunday? What do you want out of it?
I just want to continue the consistency in our performance. I mean, 4 quarters of really solid effort. There's been times where teams get on top of us, but I think the difference between where we were and where we are now is that we have the ability to turn the game back on our terms, and I suppose the 22 players that are contributing each week is really important for us as a group.
So rather than what do you need out of it, Damien, to finish the season?
Oh, I just think for us to play, the way we have, the Richmond way. It's just that hard, tough brand of footy we've put out in the park for the last, period of time. We think if we do that, we're capable of beating anyone. The consistency of performance is the reason we've got back into the 8, and it's the reason we'll go further as well.
Good luck.
Thanks,
given
guys.
everyone a really interesting ride, Damien and Trent.
Good luck.
Heading off to face Port Adelaide, but perhaps as we close off on Richmond, just one more look. How could you not love it?
How would you love to be in that?
So outside of all the emotional side of things, it struck me on the weekend that we now actually have what is the Richmond way. Remember in the middle of the year, and Damien Hardwick spoke of the Richmond way, and he didn't want to define it.
He was ridiculed for it a little bit.
We can see it now.
Yeah, he said it again, the Richmond way, and I was going to interrupt him, but I didn't want to interrupt him, and that is contested ball, hard football, hard running. They were playing a really impressive brand. They played Port Adelaide this week, and after the interview, and we were just sitting there chatting, I actually said to him, you play very similar football to Port Adelaide, which is quite furious when you got the ball and everyone's running, and your defence is clearly picked up from earlier in the year, and the contested ball finishing AFL 3, as he called it, 3rd in the competition. That shows that they've got a real thirst for the contest, and when Port Adelaide are playing at their best, that's what we see. So I hope it really stands up this game.
The cliches are hard to shake. Whatever's going to help us get the 4 points. There ain't no 4 points.
Did you
this
think
week.
Dan Jackson will get a game after listening to that?
Not by the sound of that.
No, it didn't sound good, did it?
Let's do the rest of the key issues out of the weekend and heading to next. The Hungry Jacks 360 seconds, Robbo.
Oh, I got the first question. Where's the cup gone?
It's down on the floor. Where do
Can
you
I have the cup back up, please?
Where do you
there it
sit
is.
on the Adam Goods furor at the moment?
I'll tell you where I sit. Adam Goods shouldn't be doing what he's doing. You know why? Because it's hurting him. I don't want the rest of the football world to question Adam Goods. He's a champ of the game. But look at that. That's just... It stands out in our game. I don't like it. As for the furor with Shane Warne, Shane Warne's having a go at Adam Goods over sportsmanlike and whatever. He was very dignified, Adam Goods, in his response, because Adam Goods had every right to turn around and say to Shane Warne, well, you know what, Warnie, you're an Australian great, but at least I didn't take a banned drug. I said, how about you just get off my back about... It's not so much the staging. We all said he was staging. It's linking the Australian of the Year into the staging. I mean, what is that? That was pathetic by Warnie. Anyway, do you agree with that or not?
Yes.
Thank God.
That was a very poor exchange.
Oh, it was undignified. It's just... Anyway. Should showpiece finals be played at ANZ Stadium?
There's only one possible answer to that, and that's no. It was the one thing that was wrong about that game on Saturday night, and the next 2 finals that are going to be played there, the qualifying final, which is huge, and whether it's a semi-final or a preliminary final... No, that's not. Especially when the SCG now has 40,000. No, that's got to... I mean, it's got to end. It has to end. Should we be copping that from the Bulldogs?
No, we should not. Extremely disappointed with the Western Bulldogs. I, like a lot of people, at the end of last year saw the Dogs win 4 from 6 coming home. Serious impetus going into a new season. Started off poorly. He asked me to give him patience, Jared. I gave him patience. By about round 9, I lost my patience. Wrote some stuff in the Herald Sun, wondering... his gallant efforts good enough for this club? There was not on the back of that, but there was a revival at the club on the back of, McRae and Bontempelli, and Murph had a terrific season. There was real good signs there. They've won 1 game from their last 6. 1. Now, while last year we're patting them on the back for 4 out of 6, there's no way we can pat them on the back for 1 out of 6. You should be belting them over the back of their head, actually, and say, this is not good enough. When is this football club... And I've lost my patience again on Sunday. When is this football club take the next step? It's as simple as that. Jared, is it wrong Port has to wear the alternate strip?
Yeah, this is a terrible decision. Shocking. So Port Adelaide has to wear white. This is last year where Richmond's wearing its version of its alternate strip against Port Adelaide. So you be the judge. Do you think that's
I don't have to be the judge, mate. Have a look at it. Brendan Gale actually tweeted tonight. Yep. Did you read that?
Yeah, we've been wearing it since
2010. They've been wearing the clash strip against Port Adelaide. And he asked the question, why then are they not allowed to wear it against Port Adelaide on Saturday? Now, that's just the Richmond side. But, Jared, I need to ask you. You finish on top of the ladder, you get some benefits.
Yep.
And one of the benefits is you play at home. And one of the benefits is you wear your home jumper. And whether people say it's just colours and it's just fabric, that's not right. This is football.
Yep.
It's about bringing people together. It's the colours. It's part of football. It's a disgrace.
Yes, I can't argue with any of that. It's the wrong decision.
Why does the AFL do it then?
I don't know. I don't know. Who's the most important docker?
Oh, why didn't you tell me this question was coming? Who's the most important docker? I'll give you 2 as a combination.
All right.
This club will live and die on Hayden Ballantyne and Michael Walters. Mm-hmm. I'm not separating them. I think they're both brilliant. I think they're a great football team. The Dockers, it's raining in Sydney, so we're going to have a sluggish ground, and we're going to have Sydney v Fremantle, who's got the bigger heart and the want. That's half a dozen 6-1, mate. They're both very, very tough teams. But for Fremantle to go places this year, Walters, and a little bit Main, but Walters and Ballantyne are the 2 keys.
Yep.
When should James Frawley tell Melbourne?
Well, he's not really allowed to tell them until the free agency window opens after the grand final. That's the way the system is set up.
That's a bad system too.
So Melbourne wants to know, and that's perfectly reasonable, except that it's just not set up that way.
We'll know if he turns up to the best and fairest.
No, he should go to the best and fairest regardless.
No. Well,
he played for the club this year. I know some don't. He played for the club this year. He should be there as part of it. But this is not James Frawley's fault. This is the flaw in the way the system is set up, and at some stage it's going to have to be rectified. Collingwood, is facing the members tonight a good idea?
Unless someone gets murdered, yes. Unless there's a riot or violence, it's great. But if they storm the stage and kick the crap out of Eddie Maguire, no, I'd say I don't think it was a good idea. What's it going to achieve? It will appease some fans. It was funny, I think Eddie said on his show last night. Last night? What's today? Monday? Yeah, yep. Last night. Come along, but don't pick fights. We're all in this together. Suggest ideas to help. Don't put your head up and say, how is your coaching, Buckley? What are you doing, Eddie? He said, no, don't do that. So I don't know what sort of purpose it's going to have.
This is a question better asked tomorrow night, I think.
You reckon?
In hindsight.
Why?
Well, then we'll know
how
it panned out. I don't think it has to be that extreme.
Do you mark or... this is... Jared.
Yes.
Do you mark or punch it through?
You make sure the ball scores. For all that is set up in football, you have to retain an awareness of whether you're going to win or lose.
Watson, Mark. Look at Woods.
Get it through.
Woods.
Get it through. Score.
How many times?
Siren's about to go. Get it over the line.
I said to Daniel Harford today, how many times did you hear that in your footy? Look it through.
Game awareness. Score.
Where was it?
Get in front.
But surely other Carlton players were yelling out, knock it through, get it through.
Essendon was half of that, not the culpable half. Up next, the coach and the captain ahead of the final series.
Well, I've lived my life in all these cabins of love.
Any score will do it for the Blues.
As it ticks to 30, he starts his approach.
Here goes Gibbs. He's got to register a score. He got under it. He got right under it. Oh, head!
Thompson tried to mark it. He should have taken it
season for the Blues. Close a lot, but not quite. Here's a chance. White, not quite the last kick.
Hurley's got it for the Bombers. He bangs it clear. There are 5 seconds left.
It's going to be a draw. It's going to be a draw. That'll do the Bombers. Terry's got it. Oh, what a result.
We're going to have a draw at the NCG.
Once described by North Melbourne coach Dennis Pagan as like dancing with your sister.
Dancing with your sister, hey? A draw. A draw. Mark Thompson, welcome.
Hey, Jared.
Now, Paul Roos is off on business tonight, so we've gone for a pretty good replacement.
Got a good replacement.
Yes, yes. It's very much the Essendon side of things with the captain, Joe Watson. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
All right, we're going to use you a little bit tonight. He sits here as such a sanguine character each Monday night. Optimistic, hopeful.
Yeah. Grumpy.
Put us at quarter time. Give us the other little bit of bomber that we haven't seen.
We made eye contact a few times at quarter time, and it was a scary. It was good though. It was what we needed. Players who didn't come out and play the way that we expected to, and sometimes you need, I guess, someone to tell you what you're actually doing and how it's looking, and that it is embarrassing, and that was the message.
So he's clearly firm. Is he a little bit scary in those moments?
Some intimidation about him.
I'm not that scared.
No. It's never personal with Bomber, which is good.
Yeah.
What did
it was.
Was it? It was a quarter time. How angry were you?
Well, the first quarter, to be honest, I sat back and I watched most of the quarter, and I didn't really talk down the phone. We normally talk to players, don't we? And I didn't talk to any players. I just said, we'll just see where this goes, and we'll see whether they can actually pull it back. And it was pretty terrible. I think they got 2 late goals, didn't they? So, it was 32 or something to.
I think they kicked 4 or 5 in the quarter. 6.
And then I just went down, and I was angry. They just went away. Like, they were on track for 120 points. Playing not the footy that we want to play. We said we wanted it to be a rehearsal.
Was it?
Yeah, we wanted it to be a rehearsal. Well, it wasn't a very good rehearsal.
Did you stalk around the group like you did in that famous footage, barking orders?
Nah, straight up, mate. In there, come in.
What happened in the second quarter to turn it around?
Just before you do, can you just reconcile this for us, Job? The figure that you saw, he immediately left the huddle and he did this interview.
Well, Bomber, very vocal there at quarter time, mate. What were you most unhappy about that quarter?
I can't talk anymore. I lost my voice. I talked about everything, mate. It was a poor quarter. Defensively, too easy to play against. And we wasted the ball going forward, like our ball used to say. The last kick into the 50 was just disgraceful.
What do you feel when you see that?
I don't care, mate.
There wouldn't be a professional elite coach in the world that would do that at a break after that first quarter. No, not after the first quarter.
Good icebreaker.
It's an icebreaker, yeah. Well, I still had my head. Like, I wasn't as if I was like, the end of the world was coming. It was just one bad quarter of footy. I did. Sometimes when you do yell out so much, your voice actually gets a bit affected, get a bit husky. And I did feel a little bit husky. Probably spent too much energy.
Can I push forward?
Yeah, you can.
Do you, North Melbourne this week, Job and Bomber, is it too far back round 1 to take anything out of that game?
It's a long time ago. Yeah, I think they're a different side, playing a different way. I think you probably take a little bit of confidence out of it, but you see the trends of the games, the way the teams play. They change every 6 or 7 weeks. I think obviously you blokes will remember who they played on, what worked, what didn't work. But apart from that, I think you look at the last month of how a team plays.
I suspect you're not going to have 130 uncontested marks in an elimination final.
Did we have that round 1?
That was
159 marks in all.
Was it 131?
30 out.
There was one. No.
Probably won't take 159. We'll try.
So denying them the ball was a good tactic.
It was that day, but
it has worked against North from other teams. Is that the way to play North?
No, I don't think it is completely. No, I think you just got to use the ball in a way that. Wherever the opportunities are, you take them. So if they allow us a free man, we'll take it every time. But if they're not, well, then we're happy to go to a contest or happy to run and carry the ball, happy to go short. So just whatever they give us, we've probably got to adapt on the day and take the best opportunity.
Start of the year, Bomber, and people have been noticing Essendon or watching Essendon over the last couple of years, the season's fallen away. you had some plans in place at the start of the year that this wouldn't happen. As we enter the finals, how do you think the group is sitting on a physical side? We'll talk about the mental side in a second. How's the group physically?
I'd say they're okay. Yeah, I still think they're hanging in there. Everyone's a little bit tired, but obviously finals just bring you up a little bit, and you can actually extract something out of your body. But we're still running. Yeah, we're still okay. Yeah, we've still got the figures. I think we're still being powerful at times. We haven't played 4 quarters for a while, but I'm certainly not worried about that. Actually, now I've got to just let that go and just go out and focus on a couple of things, and one of them is work rate, and we'll make that a real big focus.
Right, so we're going to concentrate on mentally then.
Yep.
I mean, if you're going out for a dress rehearsal last week and they dish up that sort of footy, how do you ensure that doesn't happen this week?
Well, I've seen it lots of times though, Robbo. Like the last game, like Harry Taylor and Mackie, I didn't even see them take a possession on the weekend. Yeah. Like the natural thing is to actually just get through the game. We weren't in that position. We haven't played finals for a while, and we certainly haven't won one for 10 years, have we? 10 years? 10 years. So, we're excited about being there, and I wanted it to be a rehearsal. Unfortunately, it wasn't, but there's still some real good positives out of it. In fact, that if you can come back from being 30 points down is an amazing thing, and we've done it a few times this year. So I think other teams will be looking at Essendon and saying, well, gee, I hope they don't bring their game, their full game together for too long. I hope they do have those patches. Well, we're pretty determined not to have them.
How hungry is the group, Job? And I know it's a general question, but in regards to what happened last year and the year before that and the year before that falling away, to be there this year, and you must be hungry. You missed so many games of football. Do you see a real hunger within the group?
I think that what it is when you go through what the group's been through, and you have the finals opportunity taken away from you, then it really doesn't mean anything unless you utilise it and you act on it. And then that's the challenge to the group. I mean, we've been coached well, we're prepared well, the team is healthy, the list is healthy. It's now whether or not the players can play and play consistently and whether we can perform.
Does it have to be spoken about, or is it just known? And so it's been part of the driving factor all through this year. I'm talking about the events of last year. Has it just been an undercurrent there?
Yeah, I think it's been an undercurrent, but I don't think it's something you probably shy away from in terms of using it as motivation. Bomber flicked me something today and was talking about what people say about you and the doubters and how you bring that competitiveness in. Well, we lived it. People said those things. People wrote those things. People talked about you that way. You had the opportunity taken away. Why wouldn't you harness it? And that's the challenge of the group.
When you got that message, how did it make you feel when you were reading it? Did the competitiveness rise
it does. I mean, you start to think about, okay, well, how can I prepare myself? How can I really prepare myself to play and to perform? How can I help my teammates do the same? And that, I think that'll be the challenge. It will be in between the ears for this playing group. Whether or not we can handle. We've handled pressure before. We've handled enormous amounts of pressure, but can we harness it and then use it?
Given the fluctuations in form that we are seeing, can you trust what you're going to come out and deliver on Saturday night?
I've got a belief in what the players can do. Yeah. I'd be lying if I said I knew exactly what's going to happen. I don't. But I've got belief in the capabilities of the playing group. I've seen the resilience of the playing group. But I touched on it before. It's now, if you go through something and you come out of it, why not use it to make you stronger? Why not use it to your benefit? And that's what we've got to do.
Every week we've had Ruzi and Bomber here. They're our closest people to the coaches, and we listen to them. And we talk about leadership. If you were to identify some players at Essendon who have improved the group, I mean, two stand out for me: Hurley and Ryder. To me, they're the obvious ones. Tell us some of the other players within the group who you've assessed and said, "Gee, Bomber, hasn't really stood up in the leadership and the instruction out on the ground." Who are some of those players?
Well, I think it sort of translates to the way that they've played and their output. And you look at guys like Carl Hooker, who's had the best season he's had, and now he's taking responsibility of the group. We had a meeting halfway through the year, and we said we actually can't go anywhere unless you guys, these guys between sort of 4 to 8 years, unless you take the control of the club. Yep. And you've seen the form of some of those guys that have had career best years.
David
Mize's at one, Paddy Ryder, Hurley, Heppel, Hibberd.
Yep.
So those guys have, I think, grown and taken more ownership of the group.
So, I mean, that's the improvement, Bomber. I mean, I think you knew when you both knew you had talent there.
Yep.
But talent can only get you so far. So you've been talking about leadership and all that
I'm just
a bit with us.
About supporting each other on big occasions and when pressure comes, and just helping each other through those moments.
So you think the team is pretty well placed?
We're pretty well placed, yeah.
What about you personally to be back? I mean,
back in finals?
Back in finals.
It's good. I would have been disappointed if I had to come back for a year and not done it. Yeah. That's once you take the job, that's it. You're just a competitive beast, and you want to do as well as you can do. And here we are. We're there.
Are you flicking messages to more players other than Joe?
Yes, I am.
You're a fighter, aren't
Don't
you?
show him, Joe.
No, seriously, it'd be great to know it'd be great to know as fans of the game to think, what does the coach say to a player? But you're using it as a trigger, aren't you? I mean, you are really building this team up to
have a good week.
They took it away. They took it away last year.
I'm not talking so much about that. It wasn't about that. That was
sorry.
It was only a small part of it. But it was about the opportunities you get and basically preparing yourself and believing in yourselves, because I think they've got a lot to believe in.
Okay, last one. Jake Carlisle, will he be part of it? What's going on there?
No, he won't. No. I think he's pretty much been declared after he spoke to the media today that the scan came back. He thought
he has got a hamstring.
He was actually talking to the radiologist, and he thought the radiologist said, "Oh, you're right, go to play," but he's actually saying you got a hamstring, you're going to miss another week. So interpreted the wrong message, I reckon.
Right, a pretty big message.
A lot of pressure. Sorry, last one. A lot of pressure now. That tall's been there to use, forward or back. You've used him a couple of times. Is there someone readily to step up, or is it more pressure or more responsibility on the ruckman?
More responsibility on the ruckman, but again, I'm okay not going big. Yeah, I don't mind sort of having medium sizes.
Okay. Good luck for it, Bomber.
Yeah, thanks.
Good on you. Thanks for coming in, Joe.
Thank you. Thanks.
All right, next we'll have the Geelong skipper Joel Selwood with us. We'll play 360 seconds with the Brownlow medal favourites.
Around the corner, got a bit of a floater off the boot. I'm not sure he meant that. His last kick maybe, and he's kicked a goal.
The Richmond resurrection is complete.
Against all odds, Devon Smith loves a big moment.
It's these moments that you never forget. Pretty stuffy chase, I reckon. That shows it's probably the right call. So the Trumps seen some retiring champions go, and this is great respect.
So the fond goodbyes have been said, and now it's on to the final series. This is the Hungry Jacks 360 seconds. Special guest into play tonight, Joel Selwood, Geelong captain. Welcome.
Thanks, Sharon. Robbo.
Hello, Joel. Just a young fella making your way in the footy world.
That's it. Yeah, slowly getting older each year, but yeah.
How old are you now?
26.
You in the prime? Do you feel you're in the prime? The body's holding
It's
up?
hard to know. It's hard to know. You feel different each year. It depends on sort of when you've played and where you've played. I remember 2011 where I had the chunk of 4 weeks off and then leading into a final series. That's probably the best I felt come this time of year, but it's the least footy that I played that year too.
Okay, we're on the clock. You take our questions.
Right.
Is this particular Monday different as the bridging day between home and away and finals?
It is, because I come in here. But no, not really. I mean, it's business as usual for us, but we understand what's ahead for us.
Are you lucky, Bart? I can't say that. Are you a lucky man? You haven't missed a final series, Joel.
Yep.
In all your career. Do you pinch yourself?
I wouldn't say In life, I haven't been over the journey. I'm just a general person, but I've been extremely lucky with my football career and where I ended up and how I got there.
Is it as exciting playing finals now as it's always been?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I think as you go on, you appreciate it more, especially you're building a side now. I come into a side that was ready to go. Now sort of we're building, and we can see where we're going.
When do you start thinking about Hawthorn?
Friday night when I was watching him play.
Did you really?
Yep. Yep.
Do you look at them, or do you actually sit there and look at strategies and matchups and how their structures are, the midfield structures? Was that what you
all that. I mean, probably look at the players that you're going to play on, how they set up. But yeah, I mean, we're students of the game. We're just sitting back. We'll have an opinion that then we'll go take to the coaches and just see where it comes out from there. But we'll work through a plan this week and come out what we think is best.
We've got a little mate who sits with us on Tuesday nights called Jordan Lewis. Have you noticed him? He's
been playing some really good footy this year, and especially his last sort of half the year. He's been up with some of the best midfielders in the game. So we'll have a close eye on him. He was very good again Friday night. But they've got a number of players in that category too.
He's not on his own.
Is Tom Hawkins in career best form?
He's close too. Yeah, absolutely. He was awesome on Saturday night. Before that, he's been doing just a job for us that we've come to expect of him, which is probably unfair because he's just such a big lad. He draws the ball. He's so powerful down there. An easy target to kick to.
Very. Will Stevie Johnson play?
I think so. Yeah, all reports are saying that, and Stevie's he's very confident too. He ran today and said it felt really good. So
he would look shocking.
He always looks
shocking, but
he never usually trains on a Monday, so we'll take it at this stage. But we'll see how he pulls up tomorrow, and then obviously we'll have our main session come Wednesday. And
does he have to go flat chat Wednesday to get a game, or can he
I'm not
still ease himself into it, being the deadline on Friday night, or does he have to go?
I would say he would ease himself into it, but it's a better question to ask the coach.
How good is it to hear that Corey Enright's going on in 2015?
Oh, it's great for our football club. I mean, the longer you can keep those players around, the better. He's been outstanding for our football club. He's always done over and above. Great footballer, but even a better person off. Like, he's just an outstanding person that would love to have him around forever.
Let me sneak the next one in, because then it gets
show, Jared. It's Geelong, I suppose. You can do whatever you like.
Josh Caddy wants to be you?
Good question. I hope so. He's playing some really good football at the moment, and the football that we expect of Josh. And he's drawing the ball. He's playing really confident football, and he's ready to have a big final series.
Yeah, I hope so. That's a good answer. He's a good player. Did Jimmy Bartell take it poorly when he was accused of diving?
No, I don't think so. I think he's a proud person, and really, I'm not going to put any more fuel on the fire that's been lit and what happened last week, but he's, from my personal experience with Jimmy, he's got so many credits in the bank.
Oh, no doubt. I didn't even want to ask the question, but Jared was too scared to, and I said, well, I'll take another for the team, and I'll ask about Bartell to Selwood.
How aware are you of Brownlow medal favouritism?
It doesn't worry me that much.
Oh, come on.
It's
you would love,
it is what it is.
It is.
But it's
twice runner-up?
No, last year. Only last year. But mate, to be honest, I'm so looking forward to this Friday more than
sure you are.
What's going to happen down the track. And
Brownlow medalist Joel Selwood, does it have a nice ring to it? Your mum would love it, I'm sure.
Yeah, maybe she'd enjoy it. Maybe down the track in 20 years I would enjoy it, but not right now. I play the game for what it is.
Last year, you got to Brownlow medal. You knew you weren't going to poll in round 23, whatever it was last year. This year, if you are sitting at the table...
Oh, he's going on, isn't he?
You'll just have a feeling that you might
give up.
poll.
He doesn't want to talk about Bartell or the Brownlow.
Or you have the feeling that you might poll if it gets down to the last round.
I'm not sure. We had a lot of good performers on the weekend.
Duncan,
very good. Hawkins, very good.
Yeah.
We'll leave it at that.
If you were to choose an act to be on Grand Final Day between Tom Jones and Edge, I don't even know this bloke. Ed Sheeran. Who is he?
Oh, you're probably showing your age there. He's
I know who.
fresh upcoming.
Is he?
And I would go with Ed, yeah.
Would you really? Do you know Ed?
Personally, no, I don't.
Is he on your iPod?
No, he's not on my iPad.
Is Tom Jones on your iPod?
No, he's not. No.
No? Sure.
He's probably on my mother's.
So, are you happy? Anyway. So the coach is going on the couch, which is why you're here alone. If you're Mike Sheehan, what's the first question you'd ask Chris Scott?
Is Stevie Johnson playing?
That's what everyone wants to know. Really,
I think so.
That's all. Outside, we want to see the best talent out there, and then unfortunately, you don't know if he's going to play yet because his foot could heat up again and he's out, and if he doesn't, he's going to be playing.
Time's up. Joel, good luck for Friday night and beyond.
Thanks, guys.
So the answer to those questions coming up on the couch, where Chris Scott, the Geelong coach, will front up to Jared Healy, Jason Dunstall and Mike Sheehan.
The Indians send signals from the rocks above the pass. The Cowboys take position in the bushes and the grass. The squirrel is moving cold, she is tied against a tree.
The breaking news of the night is out of the West, where Fremantle key defender Michael Johnson has been ruled out of the remainder, or in the entire final series, with a back injury. He looked terrible on the weekend, and Robbo, that has come back even worse.
Oh, it's a horrific blow for their premiership chances. No doubt. We don't know what McFarlane's doing. He's not playing this weekend. Their key defenders are out. Geez, it'll be a huge, huge win. But straight away, they're behind the 8 ball, mate. Just catch up. It's fighting against hurdles and hurdles. Anyway.
Dennis Pagan used to think that everything had to go right to be able to win the flag. And that is just one critical thing that's gone wrong. The other element that's come to pass in the last half hour or so is that Port Adelaide is now going to wear its Heritage Prison Bar Guernsey.
This is a debacle.
On Sunday against Richmond.
A debacle.
With
the
white
AFL
shorts.
have said you cannot wear your regular jumper because it clashes, even though they've played against it up for 2010. Port have come up and said, let us wear the prison bar. They had to go and ask Collingwood, and the AFL said yes. Why don't they just let them wear their jumper that they wear every week? Why?
I don't know. I sense your exasperation, and I feel it, and I'm share it.
Exasperated.
Okay.
Thank you.
Pav
I'll
and
talk to you
Kieran Jack
tomorrow night.
Let's head on the couch with Jared Healy.